Well, bit of a nothing week this one, and not very unexpected. Last week there could have been a lot of variance. I had said before because there were quite a few captain options. This week everyone was captained on Erling Haaland, and his effective ownership in the top 10k was actually more than 200. For me, at my rank, which is somewhere around 1.1, 1.2 million, it was around 199. So I actually gained a slight bit when he scored that goal. But of course, when Haaland scores a goal, most of the time it's a City player that I do not want who gets the assist. So overall, I lose rank. But anyway, so I actually did consider captaining Cancelo, but that was, you just don't know with Man City. If it was another team, maybe I would have given that a thought. But with City, you just do not know. Pep winning 4-0 at halftime, it takes off, and with Cancelo not having any attacking return, just randomly takes him off at halftime. That could very easily happen. So yeah, just went with the crowd this week. This was not a week to take a chance in my opinion, so that's how it was. I ended up with 63 points, which was okay. I think so most of the people scored in that range, 62, I think 75, 77. Very rarely people got more than 80, and yeah, it was all about, if you have Foden, I think you scored somewhere around 75. If you had Andres Pereira, points coming off the bench, that was a big factor as well. Anyone who had Pereira and with Mitrovic starting, they got 6 points off the bench, and that for many people made the difference between having a red arrow and a green arrow. Anyway, so I played Danny Ward this week, so I actually was not expecting much from the goalkeepers this week because Leicester have been just conceding goals after goals, and I was expecting Liverpool to score against Arsenal, which absolutely we did. Now I was doubled up on Leicester's defense because I bought in Justin and I like Justin, and there is always that chance that he, against a team where there is a slight possibility of Leicester keeping a clean sheet, suddenly he gets an attacking return, and that's a massive fall. So I did not want to take that chance. I played Justin and I played Danny Ward, and of course, it was, I think for most of it was actually only when Daka scored that I realized that the game was on. I never really had any. Generally, when you are doubled up on any defense, you are actually really, really anxious. There was no anxiety in this situation because I was very much expecting Leicester to concede, and they did. They conceded 2 goals back to back, and both my Leicester defensive options got just 1 point, and that is okay. I had Ramsdale on the bench. Ramsdale got 1 point as well, so it did not matter much. Thereafter, I had Justin. He evened up the amount of points Reece James scored. So yeah, that was fine enough. I think 1 point from someone was 4-3 is okay. And then, of course, Cancelo with that 18 pointer. Nico Williams was a bit, I think, again, I was not really expecting Nottingham Forest to keep a clean sheet, but there is always this possibility of him. He has been playing so well, and just because he was, he had a tough time against Harvey Barnes in the last game, I thought it was really unfair for Nottingham to just drop him, and they actually tweaked the formation as well. Serge Aurier played a right back, and he was much deeper. He was barely joining in the attack. And yeah, it earned them a point eventually, but I'm not so sure they're going to survive the league if they're going to play like this. And anyway, so Nico did come off the bench, which I was very much expecting. He got a point, that is okay. And Of course, if he did not come off the bench, I'd be getting the 6 Andres Pereira points, and that would have meant that not only I had a green arrow this week, but I would have been very, very close to getting into the top 1 million, and I've just not been able to break that barrier. I've been hovering around 1.1, 1.2, dropping to around 1.5, 1.6, but cannot complain. Last week, I still remember Erling Haaland smashing that hat-trick against Man United and my rank dropping to 3.2 million after that. So, coming back from there, I think I'm fine. And yeah, Alexander-Arnold, once again, back-to-back 0-pointers. And, it's sad what's going on with him. And I think a lot of the treatment he's been getting from the media is really harsh. And, everyone is on social media. They know what is being talked about them and what is being written about them. And a lot of Liverpool fans have been spreading a lot of negativity as well. Trent can't defend. Trent is not supposed to defend. Trent is out there to provide assists. And he has been doing that consistently. He has never been defensively good. I don't know what people are expecting out of him all of a sudden. If you have to blame someone, you go and blame the other defenders, because they are the ones who are supposed to defend. I think Van Dijk has been really poor. Matip was poor against Arsenal. He has probably been our best defender over the last couple of transfer windows. But Konate has come back, but definitely we're not going to play Konate and Matip at the moment. That is probably our best centre back pairing. But anyway, Trent got injured as well, so that was a really, that was a big moment for not just my FPL moment, but for Liverpool season as well. So yeah, he came off at halftime. It's apparently an ankle injury, and today there's been no official confirmation yet, but he's supposed to be out for 2 to 3 weeks, which means he's going to miss quite a few game weeks. And I would have kept him. I don't mind keeping him, but the problem is there is this game week 12 in between where I'm short of players, because I have 3 Arsenal players and 2 Man City players, and that is probably the reason why I'll have to get rid of Trent. So yeah, that was my defense. The midfield was very decent. I think Madison is a problem as well. He did so well last week, coming and smashing that 18-pointer and being captain, of course, in my team. This week, again, Bournemouth has been really good defensively. And that is why, a lot of people went with Ivan Toney last week. But they have been really good at home. And I've seen them actually defending really well. Even against City. Remember game week 2, Erling Haaland with just an assist in that game. Now, Bournemouth actually defended pretty well in that game. What I saw, they did make some individual errors here and there, but the organization was fine enough, and they're on a run. I think they do concede goals here and there because quality is just not there. They're absorbing so much pressure, and there is always that risk of conceding when they do that. But overall, I think Bournemouth have been fine defensively, and Maddison and Leicester in general looked really poor in that game. And Maddison got booked as well. So that is 4 yellow cards for James Maddison. So that means if he picks up one more, he's going to be suspended for the next game. Now, I really don't want him to pick up a yellow card in the next game, because that would mean he would miss game week 12. And there is going to be one more player short for game week 12, which is just not ideal. But I guess I'll have to take that chance, and in case things like that happen, what can you do? You have to assess that situation. If you have options, if you think that there is a player you can bring in who's going to outscore the -4, the -4 that you're going to take for the hit, then you do it. Otherwise, you just play with as many men you have. That is exactly how you deal with a blank game week where you are not using a free hit. There are few people who are actually considering playing the free hit. I won't do that, and I won't recommend that because there are just two teams missing this fixtures, and there will be games in the game weeks in the future where a lot more players are going to miss out. You're probably going to have two or three players in your team. That is a possibility, and then you're going to be in trouble. And if not, of course you can use it for a massive upside. And I have not really checked. I don't know if the fixtures are really good for certain teams that you do not have players from. I'm not so sure, but I'm not going to play my free hit. That is 100% sure. And yeah, Zaha came in. I thought it was poor, but he got an assist. It was a lovely finish from Messi. It was actually a pretty decent assist from Zaha as well. But overall, I think he took a few shots, but his shots were really poor. And Crystal Palace in general did not look too good. Leeds were okay. I think both that it was a very average game. And yeah, anyway, so I think Zaha has got a good run of fixtures, and so I bought him in. I bought him in. My plan was to sell off Martinelli the week before, and that would have been a complete disaster because Martinelli got a 12-pointer, and I watched Martinelli play against Tottenham the week before, and he was so good. That just convinced me, at that price. And here's a player on whom I've got some value attached as well. If I sell him, I cannot get him back for cheap. So I kept Martinelli, and that paid off handsomely. 12 points, that is fine. And I actually sold off Mohamed Salah. Yeah, so I watched the Champions League game against Rangers, and my assessment from that game was I think he was playing way too wide. Right now, Liverpool's situation, I don't like what I'm seeing. A lot of people are really excited with this 4-2-3-1, 4-2-4, 4-4-2, whatever you want to call it. I don't like this formation. It worked back in 2018-19 for a while because we had players tailor-made for those certain positions. We had Shaqiri playing on the right wing, which was his natural position. And Mane is well capable of playing in a 4-2-3-1 setup on the left, on the right. And Salah, in around the box, he gets the goals. For me, even though he has been playing false nine for Liverpool, he's a natural number 10. So we had the players. This time, I don't think we have the players. So Salah is playing as a proper winger, a backtracking, proper old-fashioned winger, which just makes absolutely no sense in my opinion. I think he's our best player, is our most prolific goal scorer. He has won 3 golden boots in 5 seasons. And goodness me, I think I did not like at all what I saw. He of course scored a goal from the spot. And immediately after that game, I made this call that I'm going to sell him off. There is no way I'm going to keep a player who costs that much. And he's tracking back. He's actually tracking back a lot, and he's trying to cover that Trent Alexander-Arnold corner. And he was exactly doing the same thing against Arsenal, and he looked frustrated. And I'm not sure this is going to sustain. This is not going to make a very pleasant racing room. Now, Darwin Núñez did get a goal against Arsenal, and he was actually one of our better players as well. Nothing denying that. But this entire setup is built around Darwin Núñez getting goals, and if that is how we are going to play, then he has to score a lot more goals than he's doing. He's just got 2. If he had like 7 or 8 goals right now, that was fine. Can he score a hat-trick against Man City next week? I don't think he scores a hat-trick if even if Man City are playing just Ederson, Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden, and probably Haaland. Then only I'm not expecting Haaland to score Darwin Núñez to score a hat-trick in that game. So yeah, it just makes no sense in my opinion, taking out our most lethal weapon and making a new guy who's still trying to settle in, who's not even, properly bred into the culture. Just too much responsibility. He's a young guy. I think he should have been, just because of the price tag, he's kind of been rushed in. I think Liverpool's best striker right now is Bobby Firmino. He scored again. And yeah, if we keep on playing with this formation, then it's going to be, we have 4 players right now. So it's going to be Jota on the left, Firmino at 10, Nunez at 9, and probably Salah will continue to play on the right. I also don't understand, we brought in Fabio Carvalho, who did so well last year playing at number 10. He's a natural number 10. Why has he not been played if we're going to try this formation? So a lot of questions there. I think it's easy to blame the owners for the lack of money and everything, but I think our main problem this season has been spending money in the wrong area. Our top scorer this season is Bobby Firmino, who's not, when everyone is fit, he's not in the starting lineup. The next guy the next in line after Firmino is probably should be Diogo Jota, who had 30 plus goal and assist returns last season. He has been asked to play deeper and wider. And then we bought another player in that same exact position, which just made no sense. Now we tried for Origi and Tchouaméni, and when that did not happen, we just threw that money on a position where we did not need a player. I don't know, we lost Luis Diaz and Alexander-Arnold both. Now, it may be a little controversial, but I have actually been critical of Luis Diaz at times as well. Now, he has, individually has played really well, but I don't think I think he has retained the ball too much sometimes. And he just runs around a lot without contributing much to the creativity, which has been, in my opinion, one of the factors why we have been struggling this season. But do we have another player who can do better than that in his position? I'm not sure. So I think, this weekend the City game could be anything. It could be, a hearty Liverpool fight back. We go and we smash City 3-0. We scored 3 goals in first 20 minutes, and it's a new phase. It's a new transformation, like we saw, in that game against City back in 2018, just after Coutinho left. Chamberlain came and he scored. Robertson, one of his very first, standout performances. We could see something like that, or we could see a game where we score goals, where we concede a lot of goals, or we could see a complete annihilation as well. I won't be surprised if City come to Liverpool and score 5 or 6 goals next week. I won't be surprised at all. So yeah, I'll probably captain Haaland again next week. I don't think again this is the week where you take a chance. Liverpool's defense is very, very shaky right now. And another player I'm really expecting to haul again is Phil Foden. Liverpool's problematic area. Now, I do think Foden is going to play on the right wing, because I'm expecting Grealish to start against Liverpool. So he'll be playing on the left, and probably Foden is going to play on the right. And that is not certain, because Guardiola knows that our problem area is that right side, and we saw that happening last season. Foden against Milner, that was very, very difficult for us to handle. So anyway, if there was no game week 12, I think I would 100% bring in Phil Foden this week. But in spite of having so much money in my coffers right now, I still cannot go and buy that third City player before game week 13, which really feels kind of bummer. Anyway, so up front, of course, Haaland 6 points, and Jesus got another return. He has been taking along, and Mitrovic did not play, so yeah, I'm not so sure he's going to play next week as well. the words from Silva have been really confusing. And the next game is against Bournemouth. Anyway, we'll see. And yeah, next week there is a decision to be made. Now I'm going to sell off Trent Alexander-Arnold in Gameweek 11. That is for sure. And before the price drop, he's going to drop in price. Diaz is going to drop in price as well. I'm recording this video just after Gameweek 10 has finished. The Nottingham Forest Villa game has just ended. And Diaz is supposed to fall in the morning. So yeah, now the thing is, it's a completely open field. This was not a transfer I was planning to make, so I could just about bring in anyone, and I'll see who I bring in, and I'll post my final team on Twitter. And next week I'm looking to move on Gabriel Jesus, and that would probably, unless Mitrovic is injured and Madison is suspended and something else happens, I'll probably still be able to put out 11 players, including, of course, Danny Ward, Josh Da Silva, and Nico Williams. So, not expecting much from it. So, it's basically 8 plus these 3. And, yeah. So, just six game weeks left before the World Cup. So, this is actually a time where I think, you could take some chances. Try to break the template, try to challenge the template when there is an opportunity. And I'll end this video paying a little tribute to, Enoch Mbipu of Brighton. Very, very sad scenario. He had to retire from football today. The news came out because of a hereditary heart condition. Really sad. I think, I watched him play. And I thought, before Moses Caicedo came in at Brighton, I think he was actually settling in quite nicely, and it's really unfortunate. So he posted a message, and I really liked it. His association with football is probably not going to end here. I really hope he moves on to do some great things for African football and football in general. So I wish him all the best, and yeah, I'll end my video right here.